no violence. And another responded, it's too late for that.
Hello, everybody. I'm Jesse Waters, along with Juan Williams, Dana Perez.
Running in the other direction because you don't want to deal with what...
It's not my problem, Juan.
No,
if you're misinterpreting what I'm saying, you need to deal with that. We've condemned it outright, and we're not ignoring it. No, we just did 10 minutes on it. So don't impugn your integrity that way. All right? We've denounced all violence, unlike you.
Look at what Republicans have chosen to forgive. The former president tried to overturn the results of a legitimate election and provoked an assault on our own government. And well over half the Senate Republican conference decided to condone it. The most despicable act that any president has ever committed. And the majority of Republicans cannot summon the courage or the morality to condemn it. This
trial wasn't about choosing country over party, even not that. This was about choosing country over Donald Trump. And 43 Republican members chose Trump.
Some astounding legal arguments. They astoundingly urge you to disregard your oath by ignoring the First Amendment of the Constitution. They also ignore landmark binding United States Supreme Court cases, precedents, Wood and Bond, both of which unequivocally hold that elected officials have core First Amendment rights to engage in the exact type of political speech which Mr. Trump engaged in. I was shocked the House managers not only spent a mere 3 pages on the First Amendment analysis in their trial memo, but yesterday they spent a mere 10 minutes at the end of their case as a throwaway. What we have read and what we have heard is devoid of any constitutional analysis for less than what I would expect from a first-year law student.
Okay, so I want you guys to take note. I used to be a really big fan of David Pakman until I started to recognize just how partisan he is. And he kind of got on this, like he would make 3, 4, 5 anti-Trump videos in a row. Now, Trump does a lot of stuff that warrants being called out, but you could clearly tell that David was just being greedy and milking it for all it's worth. And this is a guy with 1 million subscribers. He doesn't need to be milking anything. He's got Patreon. He's got the money coming in. He's good. Totally unnecessary. He has the intellectual ability to really not do that kind of stuff and focus purely on his better pieces where he does some really, really good analysis and education as well, informing you a lot about the political process and historical context. So he's certainly very capable. But yet again, another extremely partisan channel. Now, that being said, take note. He's covered the entire impeachment trial. He has shown what Trump attorneys have said. He has shown what the impeachment managers have said. He's showing you it all with minimal commentary, right? So make your assessment about which side is on the right side with this matter. Just use some basic logic. This extremely partisan channel is perfectly comfortable showing their audience the full impeachment every single day, covering the entire thing. This is a 5-hour live stream. He sat for 5 hours and let his audience see both sides of the trial. So if Trump's attorneys had any good points to make, they would see it. Why is he not trying to hide Trump's attorneys and only show you the impeachment managers? That will be the thing to do for someone who's really partisan, which he is. Apparently, David Pakman, who is very smart, has no fear of showing his audience the truth and letting them decide for themselves. What does that usually represent? Is someone who is in the wrong typically very open and transparent? Or are they usually the ones that want to censor, cover up, and hide? So let's contrast this coverage on a very partisan left-leaning channel to conservative media.
From some folks in the audience taking...
Apologies. Okay, so set aside any opinions of who might be right versus who might be wrong. This is not about if Trump is guilty or he's not guilty. Did he really incite the riots or did he not incite the riots? We're not talking about that. We're trying to make an assessment of the media that's covering this trial. Which side is on the side of truth versus which one is not. Remember, if you're on the side of truth, you'll want transparency. You'll want, hey, look at everything. Here's everything. I'm going to show you everything. I got nothing to hide. If you know you're on the wrong side, you're going to want to hide. Yes, I know that rhymes. So Fox News is a major network, and they're going to cover a ton of videos. I love the random Rolls Royce in the traffic video here. So they have covered the impeachment, but their opinion guys have also spent a lot of time going after it, and it's nonsense, blah, blah, blah. Now, if you're on the right, just give yourself a little bit of perspective. Imagine roles were reversed. They were trying to impeach Biden. Imagine you went to CNN and you saw a bunch of opinion pieces saying, you know, Biden did nothing wrong and the Republicans were whatever. Imagine how you would think about how partisan and slanted and biased they are. if that was the case. So you can't look at this in any different of a way. The fact that this is supposed to be the news, and all they're doing as far as the opinion hosts are sitting there defending Trump and trying to say how the Democrats suck and blah, 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 right? If CNN did the same thing, treat this the same way you would treat that if you want to be objective. Moving on, Newsmax. You can just take a guess what this video is about with all these fires and cars on fire and things like that. Seems like a deflection piece to protect Trump. 20-minute reaction video. As you can see from the video, most of this video is them speaking and not the actual impeachment itself. So I see a lot of opinion stuff on here. I don't see that they've been covering the impeachment at all, the impeachment itself. So see, they do a little 13-minute video clip here. I don't know what's on there, but I don't see. I mean, this is 4 days back. We've gone already. We don't see any hours-long videos. So Newsmax is not interested in showing their audience what's happening. Why would that be? Why? What is the side in a situation? What is the side that would want to suppress and censor and cover up? Is that the side that's about truth, or the side that has something to hide? Blaze TV, they haven't been covering the impeachment. I don't see any live streams. This is 3 days ago. They put snippets from the impeachment with no commentary, which is one of the best ways to do it because you're not putting your opinion on it. You're letting people see for themselves. But notice, every single one is Trump's attorneys. This is a propaganda channel, no doubt about it. Again, imagine if CNN did this. Imagine if CNN, this was an impeachment for Joe Biden, and all they did is they showed you the Democrats speaking on the floor, defending Joe Biden, and they completely ignored the other side. Why would they do this if they're on the right side? Why is it that a partisan left-leaning channel is comfortable showing their audience the truth, showing them the impeachment trial? Why are conservative media channels not covering the impeachment trial? Instead, they want to focus on Star Wars, right? That's the big story. Star Wars, previously it was AOC. AOC was in a situation where she could have been killed, and it was a huge story for them to cover her saying that she could have been killed. Like, that's a major, like, oh my goodness. 2, 3, 4 videos each channel did. Timcast. I don't see him covering the impeachment trial itself. I don't see him even really posting any videos about it. He's not even really posting videos like with his opinions or whatever. He doesn't want to touch it. Why would that be? Here's Steven Crowder. So he does one live stream on the day when it wasn't so bad. Day 3 was devastating in terms of what was presented. The arguments presented by the impeachment managers against Trump was devastating, in my view. Just so happens on that day, Steven Crowder disappears. The day before, he does 3 hours, but take a look at what it looks like. So I'm gonna scrub through this. As you can see, Crowder talking, 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 Crowder talking. That's how he covers the impeachment trial. Instead of allowing his audience to have their own opinions and think for themselves, he's pretty much telling them what to think. He's framing everything. Oh, this is ridiculous, and they're lying about this, and da, da, da. He doesn't show them, right? This is how he covers it. Why is it that a pattern that in conservative media they refuse to cover the impeachment trial? Even if Trump is innocent, why won't they show the trial so their audience can determine for themselves that Trump is innocent, right? Again, this video is not about whether Trump is guilty or not. Let's say Trump is innocent, and this is nonsense, it's revenge, right? Then show it. Why are they so afraid to cover this? Dozens and dozens of stories happened after the attack. They also censored those stories as well. This has been the biggest blacklisted story by conservative media that I've seen in my time that I've been tracking their coverage of different events. This is not coincidence. This is across the board, almost like a conspiracy. It's almost as if they all got together and agreed, we have to censor this impeachment trial. It does not look good. I'm not suggesting that's actually what happened, but I'm just saying they're so consistently avoiding the impeachment trial that it sends a very, very strong message that clearly they don't believe that Trump is innocent. If they did, they would have no problem showing their audience. Unless, of course, they think conservatives are just really stupid, and they're afraid that if they show them the impeachment trial, the idiots who are their audience won't be smart enough to see that Trump is innocent, right? If they really think Trump is innocent, and yet still decide to consistently censor the story, it must be because they think their audience is dumb, which means they think conservatives are dumb, which is interesting because they're conservatives, right? Crowderbit's channel, talking about Obama, talking about Breitbart. Then he's doing a bunch of, before it was election fraud stuff, now he's trying to say that everything the Democrats are saying are lies. Now he's pushing conspiracy theories that they're lies. It's a fake tweet, it's a fake this. And just because I know someone's going to get me and say, oh, he didn't say it was a fake tweet. No, he's saying that the tweet was doctored. Doesn't talk much about what the tweet says or the substance of the arguments being made. Focused a lot on the fact that it had a verified logo on there, which shouldn't have been there. And I want to know the answer to why that was. And notice the partisanship of liberal media not being concerned about this. I'm pretty sure we're not going to see a bunch of videos asking, why was that thing doctored? Again, the tweet was 100% accurate, but there was that verified logo, which I want to know how it got there. But point is, liberal media doesn't care to talk about it. Point is, Crowder doesn't care to show his audience the impeachment trial. Why? Daily Wire is talking about The Mandalorian. 1 video, 2 video, 3 videos. That's what he's talking about. And then he does his propaganda opinion pieces. He's going to break it down. Shapiro rips Dems, coup claims, blah, 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 blah. So rather than show the actual impeachment trial, he's just telling his audience what to think. It's almost as if conservative media thinks that conservatives are stupid and can't think for themselves. So rather than showing them the impeachment trial, they're giving them talking points and showing them what to think. Even him, Officer Tatum, he gets on the Mandalorian thing. He completely didn't cover the impeachment trial. I wonder if that has something to do with the fact that he openly supported the attack on the Capitol and he was pushing the election fraud stuff. His hands have blood all over them. So no surprise, he completely blacks out the impeachment coverage. Wonder why. Timcast. Of course, he's talking about Mandalorian. He's talking about football. He's still defending Trump. Trump lawyer absolutely obliterate the Dems, right? This is a guy who does hours and hours of live streams, right? But he's not interested in sharing the impeachment trial with his audience. Why? And again, put this in reverse. Imagine this was a left-leaning channel. This was CNN, MSNBC, one of the independents, and Biden's being impeached, right? And you go to their channels, and this is what you see. No impeachment footage. You just see them doing videos saying, oh, Biden was completely innocent, and the Republicans, they suck, and their arguments, blah, blah, blah. And then they show you little clips of Biden's team making statements, and, oh, Biden's team obliterated. How would you feel about that? The same way you'd feel about that, if you're objective, if you're not a partisan, the same way you'd feel about that being, that would be garbage if they did that. You got to feel the same way about this. Let's all grow up and stop playing games and face reality. Of course, we won't say anything on Project Veritas. They're not doing any behind the scenes, hidden footage of some of the people who went to the Capitol or interviewing some of the senators or just different people exposing them like, oh, wait a minute. So did Trump say this or whatever? Like, he's not doing that, right? Because this is a partisan channel. It's a propaganda channel. He's getting funded by rich Republicans. So exposing them would be bad for business. This is propaganda, right? He's producing material to be used by his rich donors for political benefit. You will see his videos being used by politicians on the right, of course. Opposition Research as a YouTube channel. Conservative Twins talking about Mandalorian, giving their opinions on the impeachment trials. Of course, I'm sure I don't even need to watch the video. It sucks. It's stupid. It's just revenge. Democrats said the same exact thing. So how simple they are. Got no value to offer, right? Don't even need to watch the video to know exactly what their video is all about, right? Nancy Pelosi this and that, and the Democrats, and they've been burning the city. Like no original arguments, right? And certainly they're not going to show you the impeachment trial so you can decide for yourself, because conservative media thinks their audience are stupid based on their actions. They're not smart enough, because if they really believe Trump is innocent, these guys clearly believe that their audience is not smart enough to actually see the trial and to recognize that Trump is innocent. They have to hide the trial from their audience and tell their audience what to think. Hey, Trump is innocent, the Democrats, just revenge, blah, 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 and they made this, everything's doctored, and it's all lies, and they burned down the city last summer, right? Not a single conservative channel outside of Fox News has covered the impeachment trial. This is a major part of history. This is the only time in history we've had a president impeached twice. And these news channels, news commentary channels, are not interested in covering a major historical event. Let me ask you a question. If Biden was being impeached right now, do you think we would see this lack of interest in covering it? Let's say Biden did exactly what Trump did and hired Hunter Biden as part of his administration. Hunter Biden, head of state or something, or whatever Trump had his children doing, same kind of thing. Then we come to find out Hunter Biden was doing some stuff with China while in the White House. And Biden knew about it. Let's impeach him. Can you imagine these channels not having tons and tons of videos about Joe Biden's impeachment? What happens when liberal media doesn't show you when left-wing extremists do violence, when they hide it from you, but they show you everything that the right is doing? What does that do to the minds of their audience in terms of how they perceive those with different political opinions? What happens when conservative media only shows them things that support the Republican Party or the right and suppresses from them things that make the right look bad? What is the overall effect in terms of how their audience thinks and how they vote? Their perception of reality. How is their perception of reality affected by watching partisan propaganda media, which we see all over the place? In my view, 98% of the media that we have is filled with propaganda. Different levels of it, but propaganda is everywhere. Why do you think our nation is so divided? Why do you think there's so much hate and anger in this country? You think our partisan media has anything to do with it? The same people who are part of the media but keep talking about the media in third person? The media this, the media that, and you see the media. This is Debate Me channel. Debate me in the comment section below. Click on the like button, subscribe, smash that bell. Be well.